Hello, I'm Chris from Gross Models. This is trying to make a diorama. This is the first time I've done this, so I'm not sure if it's going to work, how it's going to work, or even what I'm doing. So, the idea being, this is for the Atat Walker that I've just built. I'm going to be using that and some of the small scale snowspeeder and Atst walkers to make a little diorama that will give you an idea as to the whole thing. Right, my basic plan, if I can grab the walker itself, there we go. Right, I intend to have one walker, 2 speeders and 2 Atsts. The walker itself will have one speeder about to be stomped on, something like that. 2 of the Atsts will just be walking along the side as well, just to give a sense of scale. The other speeder I intend to have flying a loop around with a tow cable, so it's actually going to be suspended, probably going, I don't know, off in one direction. You can't see it from that angle, but there you go. That sort of, it's actually suspended on some wire, which I have here. I did a quick test to see if the wire was going to be strong enough to support the speeder, and it looks like it's going to work. So all I did with this one was basically to use the stand that is on it, in the light, there you go, holding that under there, and I was able to get quite a length of wire holding the speeder in place. So basically the idea being that I'll have that attached to the leg with the speeder suspended over nothing. I'm going to be attaching the wire into the back, into the panel here, hopefully, and we'll see how it works. The diorama itself obviously will have the elements in there. My intention is to use a bit of foam over the foam core, so I'll be sticking that down onto there. I can cut out some of this to give a bit of burying under the snow. I'll then be using some Citadel blizzard snow and some Vallejo snow as well. So I think I need to get that stuck on there using some PVA glue. I hope it doesn't melt anything. Now I have some plaster that I'll be using to mix up. I'm going to create a hill, perhaps over one side, just to break it up so it's not a big white mess. Other than that, we'll see how it goes together and see how it comes. This is going to be an ongoing video, so although it will seem quite short to you, it's not going to be a short job for me, but I'll keep you updated and we'll see exactly what we can do. Thank you. Oh, no time like the present, so I've got some PVA, so hope you'll be able to get at least some glimpse of. Let's get some of that on there, and then it should hold that in place. can still cut into that once it's dried on there a bit. Right, I will also, I think, just use a bit more of this. Just to build up some hill. This can obviously be shaped afterwards as well. A little bit bigger than that. So attention. The clay over the top, the plaster, will just add to this as well. What do I want? Yeah. Basically, add a couple of bits of that. Give me a bit more height. Obviously the first time filming at this unusual angle, I keep having a look to see that I'm doing something on camera, but if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So should obviously still give me a nice edge corner. Hopefully just give me a bit of height. But once I put the plaster on, I can smooth it down. I think I'll do another bit over the other side as well, but smaller. Again, probably using these offcuts. There we go. So I'll leave that to dry, and then at some point get the plaster coverage over the top of it. I don't think I'm going to be able to do any of that on camera because I have to have water and a sink in the place, so we'll see how it goes. Right, all of the polystyrene, the foam has been stuck onto the base, onto the bottom of the foam core. I've, as I say, put a few bits one side, a few bits the other side. I don't know if you can make it out very well on camera, but I've cut a notch into the plastic, into the foam there. That is for the snowspeeder, which will be pretty much like that. Need it sort of buried, as it's obviously crashed. That's when I put the snow and the plaster over, I'll be building a sort of a wave around the front where it's pounded in, as well as giving me more support on the bottom. And then when the walker's approaching it, it will be hopefully artistic and lovely. Right, so that's that. I need to get the plaster on there now, to try and obviously smooth out the corners and just create a bit of variation to the terrain. Not sure how it's going to work. Obviously I need to plaster it without the ship on there, so I'll get that, then see if I can keep this divot there. If need be, I'll put another layer of plaster on that's got the extra indentations in it. The walker feet I need to have indented slightly into the plaster anyway, so I think I'm going to do a basic layer first to get a bit more shaping to the hills, and then we'll see how we go. Oh, there we go. That's just got some of that on. It's still quite liquid, as you can see. but as a first coat, I'm quite happy with that. And it's given me a bit of shaping to the hill, the cliff I've got there, which I'm sure as it dries I can still reshape and get rid of a bit more edge. I'm obviously going to need to put some more down as well. I didn't have any idea how much to mix up. Obviously by mixing in different amount of water to the powder will give you a different consistency, but as an overall first attempt, I'm quite happy with the finish. I don't want a dead flat finish obviously, but also I don't want one that looks like I've been poking at it with a stick. So I'm hoping to, obviously on the top layer, give a bit more of a brushing over with the edge of a stick, smooth it down a bit without actually leaving marks in it, a bit sort of windswept. So I need to leave that to dry for however long it's going to take, while I'm sort of poking at it a little bit occasionally to get a bit of shaping on the corners. But as an idea, that's what I was going for. Right, that's had some time to dry. I've reshaped it slightly as I was going. Right, I've just mixed up another batch, which is fairly liquid, but I'll still do the job. Basically, what I've been doing is pouring roughly where I need it to be. Do a bit more over this side as well. Blow that out. There we go. Right, once it's poured, you can move it. I do want this to be a smooth hill, so that's why I poured at the top, and I'll let that seep down, just spread it to the edges a little bit more. Not sure what I'm going to do at the edges yet. I need to do something obviously to finish. I may end up trimming it down and sort of cutting to make it flush. I really don't know. Right, see, I'm off camera. Right, let's get back. Basically just spreading out to get some more coverage. It's going to take another couple of pots and couple of mixes up just to make sure I've got everything covered anyway, and get some texture to the top as it's actually coming in through. Just working it really. I have built up where the snowspeeder is going to go in, but obviously I need to make sure it's got a nice build up around the outside where that would push all the snow that it's ploughed into. But again, final shaping is going to be something that I do with another mix. So I'll get this spread out a bit more, get it smoothed down, probably get a couple more coats on before I film any more. But hopefully that gives you an idea of what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. And the plaster is done. The edges I've decided to just cover in plaster just to seal it all in. It will sit on a shelf and look quite nice. I've got the little hole ready for the speeder to fit into. I pushed the Walker feet into it just a touch while it was still wet to give me placing for those and to let them sit under the plaster a little bit. So now I need to paint it white. It's already pretty white, but it is also quite powdery. So by giving it a coat of white, I'm hoping that that will sort of lock it all in, seal it all together before I put the snow on it. So I'll get the airbrush out, and I might film a little bit, but then obviously I'll finish it off because it's going to be quite a job. Right, so there we go. The trouble with doing white over white is it's difficult to tell what you've done. So I'm going to start on the edges and then work my way around those. Unfortunately, that means that's the bit that you can't see. So it's not really changing the look of it dramatically. But you can see where some of it's getting a bit wetter. Well, that's once round. Right, I'm going to give all of it a going over, but I'll let you see it when it's done. Now, snowspeeder. This is the crash one, or will be crashed. So I've made a hole which I know this fits into with a bit of wiggling. So I need to get that where I need it to be, which is going to be just about there. I do need to do some more paint work on the speeder itself. Now it's a crashed one, but it's going to be about there. I sprayed these bits just in a dark grey, then a black, just to give the impression that it's not just landed there, it has crashed there. I'll be leaving these empty of snow when I put the snow around the other parts as well, so it'll again be a noticeable indentation. I do need to get the more snow around the outside here, so I'm going to start getting some of that on. I don't think I need to worry about gluing the speeder in because it's wedged in pretty well. Now, to do the snow around the speeder, I'm going to go with a slightly different snow, but from some tests that I did, it comes out much the same. It's basically just a white paste that dries snow-like. I wanted something a little bit different for around the speeder, because the snow's going to be sort of disturbed rather than just landed. So although it's still a snow effect paint basically, it does have a slightly different texture. Now I'm definitely going for more sort of fluffy at the front, where in my mind at least the speeder's just sort of ploughed in. There's no pattern or neatness to it, it's just a case of getting some down and see. I'll blend it in with the other snow around eventually. This blizzard snow seems to give a flatter effect rather than the fluffy from the other one. So that's pretty much how I want it. It seals in the speeder quite well. Bit around, covering a bit of the wing. as it would have pushed its way under somewhat. Don't think the pilot's got out of this one. So that's pretty much what I was intending for that. I say the texture does change somewhat when it dries, so I might need to go over it a little bit more just to sort of reshape and finish. But that is pretty much how I imagined this to be when I decided this was what I was going to build. Patch over there that hasn't got in. There you go. Yeah. Trouble is you can always go back and add more and see different patches, but I'm happy with that. Let me move the camera around a little bit so you can see. Let me just take the camera off and you can really see. So there we go. The speed has definitely crashed. Yeah, I'm happy with that. We'll see what it looks like when it dries, and obviously I need to build up the snow around the outside as well. So this is the difference in the textures. This is a bit more grainy, whereas the Citadel one is a smoother finish. I'll see how it works out, but I'm happy with that. At the moment, just got the Atst over there and the speeder there. It's already starting to look like a scene. There you go. Right, I'll let this dry, get some more snow in, then wait for the other vehicles. Okay, that's dried quite nicely. The second Atst rather is going to come over here. I did leave a little area free of snow, but can't really make out where it was. Pretty sure it's going to be around there somewhere. I'll add some more snow in and around it anyway. So I'll need a little dab of PVA on the bottom of the feet. And we'll get that where I need it to be. It's going to be around there somewhere, so that'll be about there, I think. That'll do that. The other one's over the other side, all set up behind the leg back there, which you can't quite see, and I'm not going to move this now. Right, the last thing to do will be to get the speeder on its wire around the legs. That's not something I'm going to be able to do on camera because I need to figure it out and be where the camera is. But the basic idea, I've got a spool of wire with the speeder on it, which does actually support quite nicely. I need to reshape that, figure out where the first corner is going to be, probably about there. Put a bigger bend in the wire, something like that, just a fold where it's going to go around that back leg. Reshape that so it's a little bit more support for it. So basically, if I can angle you up just a little bit, right, that's going to be coming around there, so the speeder itself will be over this corner here, and then I need to work backwards with each curve and fold around each of the legs I'll give it a turn and a half around the Walker, and then cut off and just anchor the bottom point. Each time this touches a leg will be glued in place. I did a test with PVA glue and a cocktail stick just to see if it would hold, and basically it's not going to, so I'm going to need something a bit stronger. I've got some Gorilla Glue that's again dries clear. Just a dab of that in the right places should hold it in place, hopefully. If not, I'll have to come up with something completely different. But as I say, I need to do stuff in the way of the camera, so I won't be able to film any of that. But I'll give the Atst time to dry on there, and get that done, and then that'll be the diorama finished. So I'll, once that's done, I'll be able to give you a final display. But this is the last bit of the building video. All in all, I've enjoyed it. It's been good. My first try at a diorama. I'm happy with the way the snow's come out and everything. I do need to touch up around the edges of the foot a little bit more, but so I need to touch up that one anyway. So I'm going to work on getting the wire around there now, and then that should be about completed, and you'll be able to see the finished thing in a few minutes. Well, for you, very shortly. And this is after a couple of days of just sitting here. As you can see, I've packed it up with whatever I've got laying around, little foam and things to support it while the glue sets on the joints here, and I've also glued in all of the joints on the Walker itself, so that's not going to move. I'm just in the process now of removing all of my supports. Just turn it around. So hopefully once I get these out, nothing will actually move. There you go, that's about the finished item. Right, I did have to touch up with grey some of the tops of the legs and some where the glue went down as well, so I need to re-weather a couple of spots there. Also I moved the Atst from where I had it around the back here. It just didn't sit right, and with the flying speeder it didn't look quite right how it was there. The one other thing is where the tow cable attaches. I need to do a bit of research and figure out something to, I don't know, some sort of harpoon gun or something, whatever it is that actually attaches it. I don't recall ever really seeing anything in the film about how it attaches, but that's it, pretty steady. As I say, I've got to touch up some weathering on the undercarriage there. The snow I need to touch up in the places where the Walker was going to be, and a little bit around the tops of the feet as it appears in the film. But that is pretty much complete. So a little bit of additions to do, especially so you can see where the grey, it was black underneath where the primer had come through, but I did just need to get rid of that. So I need to add some more weathering, streaking in places which shouldn't be too much of a trouble. Touch up the snow, and that will be done. So I'm going to get on and do that. As you say, since the last time I've got the two Atsts and the two snowspeeders. All in all, I'm pretty happy with it. So last bit of touching up to do. I might try and shape the end of this wire a little bit once I can get rid of some of the glue there, but it's not terrible. Yeah, I'll get that done, and then there should be a final display model that I can show you. My first diorama is now complete. I'm happy with it. The detail is all pretty much how it was in my mind. I'll let it rotate a couple of times and then change the camera angle so you can get a better view of some of the other bits, but all in all it tells the story of a big walking thing taking on little flying things. So yeah, I'm happy with that. The idea with the wire works as I had expected it to, really. It's thin enough to support it, but not too thick to be drastically out of scale. Yeah, I'm happy. Let me come down to see if it's coming in. So the Walkers, the Atsts, all to scale. My crash speeder, about to be stomped. Yeah, I'm pleased. Everything came together pretty much how I expected it was going to, and as it did. If I was going to do it again, yeah, pretty much go with the same sort of idea. The plaster worked well. The snow over the top does look like snow. The different colour of the little bit I've pushed around the front of the speeder from the Citadel version is a slightly different texture, which is pretty much what I expected and what I wanted from it being, you know, the snow that's just been overturned by it being crushed in. It'll be a bit fluffier and a bit different to snow that's landed. So all in all, I'm happy. As long as I'm happy, that's the important thing. Trouble is I can't get a decent picture of it because it's quite big. Although it's only 144, it still takes up a fair size. So I'll try and get a still picture of that put up as well, but I quite like it. I hope you do too. I hope you've enjoyed watching. I hope you've learnt something. Obviously subscribe, follow me, join the page, chat, comment, anything you like. Yeah, all good. Thanks for watching. Bye.